Welcome student. Today's lecture is on the chapter number 6 plant water relation part 2. Today's topic, these are our today's topic, water available to root for absorption. Plant absorb water from the rhizosphere. What is meant by rhizosphere? Rhizosphere is a narrow region of soil that is directly influenced by root secretion and associate with soil microorganism known as root microbiome. In shortly, rhizosphere is a microenvironment surrounding the root, and rhizosphere helps in plant to absorb the water. Water present in soil occur as a gravitational water, hygroscopic water, combined water and capillary water. First is a gravitational water. Gravitational water is also known as free water. It is a free water moving through the soil by the force of the gravity, and it is largely found in the micropores of the soil. And water percolate deep due to the gravity in the soil. What is meant by percolate? Percolate drip, percolate means drip or downward movement of water through the pores and other spaces due to the gravity. Second is hygroscopic water. Hygroscopy is the phenomenon of attracting and holding water molecules. Fine soil particles absorb water and hold it. Hygroscopic water is not capable of movement by the action of the gravity, and it is also not absorbed by the root. Third is combined water. Water present in the form of hydrated oxide of silicon, aluminium is called combined water, and it is also not available for the plant for absorption. Fourth is capillary water. Capillary water is a main water which is available for the absorption. Amount of water is held in the pores present in between neighboring soil particles due to the capillary action is called capillary water, and it is available to plant. It is a main water which is absorbed by the plant, and it is a trap in the soil. Here diagrammatic representation which show the hygroscopic water, capillary water, gravitational water. Hygroscopic water. In this diagram, brown color indicate the soil particles and blue color indicate the water molecule. Water molecule present on the surface of the soil particles is known as hygroscopic water, or water adheres to the soil particles is known as hygroscopic water. Second is a capillary water. Capillary water held in the micropores in the form of capillary is known as capillary water, and it is available for the plant. Then third is a gravitational water. Gravitational water held in percolate or drain into the deep soil is called gravitational water. Here another second diagram which represent the hygroscopic water, capillary water, gravitational water. Hygroscopic water present on the soil particles, capillary water present in between micropores of the two soil particles, and gravitational water present in the deep and percolate into the soil due to the gravity. Next topic is absorption of water by roots from the soil. As we know, root is the main organ of water and mineral absorption. Root absorb most of the water that goes into the plant. Root have a maturation zone. In maturation zone, there are root hairs present, which is the main organ of the water and mineral absorption. Generally, root hairs absorb water by a three physical process, which is occurs in sequential. First is imbibition, second is diffusion, and third is osmosis. Start with the first process, imbibition. Imbibition is a biological process in which swelling up hydrophilic colloids due to the adsorption of the water. Generally, imbibition means to drinking. To drinking means imbibition. And in other words, imbibition means the uptake of water by substance that do not dissolve in water. In imbibition process, there are two components required. First is the imbibant, second is the imbibate. First is the imbibant and second is imbibate. What is meant by imbibant? Imbibant is also known as colloids and adsorbent. Imbibant is also known as colloids and adsorbent. There are some examples: starch, cellulose, mucopolysaccharide, agar are the example of imbibant. But what is meant by imbibant? Imbibant is a substance that adsorbs water is called imbibant, and generally it is a solid substance which is adsorb water and swell up. Imbibant is a solid substance which adsorb water and swell up. Second component is imbibate. Imbibate is a water or liquid that get imbibed. Imbibate means water or liquid that get imbibed. Then example of imbibition. Absorption of water by seed and dry wood. It is the best example of imbibition. Generally, during the imbibition process, water molecule get tightly adsorbed and without formation of solution. It is a continue till the equilibrium reaches. Some significance of imbibition. First is the soaking of seeds and second is the swelling up of dried resins are the best significance of process of imbibition. And here imbibition is a biological process which require imbibant and imbibate. Imbibate must the hydrophilic colloids. There are starch, cellulose, mucopolysaccharide, agar are the hydrophilic colloids. Second process is diffusion. Diffusion is a process in which movement of substance from high concentration to area of low concentration. And diffusion is a hypothetical term coined by the scientist Mayer in 1938. The movement of substance from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration is known as diffusion. Diffusion is an important process for the living things, and this process continues until the concentration of substance is a uniform throughout. Diffusion result in diffusion pressure and diffusion pressure deficit. Diffusion pressure is also known as dP in shortly, and diffusion pressure deficit is also known as dPd or suction pressure SP. Diffusion pressure deficit means dPd and deficit means decrease. So diffusion pressure deficit is also known as diffusion pressure decrease. First, diffusion pressure. Diffusion pressure is directly proportional to the number of diffusing particles. And second is a diffusion pressure deficit. The difference in between diffusion pressure of pure solvent and the solvent in a solution is called diffusion pressure deficit or the suction pressure. Water around the cell wall has more diffusion pressure than the cell sap. Due to this, water move in the cell by the diffusion. The next is the significance of the diffusion. What are the significance of diffusion? Diffusion helps in absorption of water, absorption of minerals, conduction of water against the gravity, exchange of gases, and transport of food or distribution of the foods. Significance of diffusion: first, absorption of water, absorption of minerals, conduction of water against the gravity, exchange of gases, transport and distribution of the food. These are the significance of diffusion. On the basis of concentration and osmotic gradient, there are three types: hypotonic, hypertonic and isotonic. First is a hypotonic solution. The solution which have low osmotic concentration is known as hypotonic solution. Second class is a hypertonic. The solution have high osmotic concentration is known as hypertonic solution. And third is a isotonic solution. The solution which have same osmotic concentration inside or outside of the cell is known as isotonic solution. Here the diagram show the hypertonic, isotonic, hypotonic condition. In hypertonic condition, cell become a plasmolyzed due to the loss of water. Then second, in isotonic condition, cell become a flaccid, neither loss or gain of water. And third, in hypotonic condition, cell become a turgid due to the high level of water molecules. The next is the types of osmosis. There are two types of osmosis: exoosmosis and endoosmosis. What is meant by exoosmosis? Exoosmosis, it is a migration of solvent from the cell outside, and it is causes due to the flaccidity of the cell. And second type is a endoosmosis. It is a migration of the cells. It is a migration of the solvent into the cell is known as endoosmosis, and it is causes due to the turgidity of the cell, that is cytoplasm become a turgid. Here diagram show the endoosmosis and exoosmosis. What is meant by endoosmosis? What is meant by endoosmosis? Endoosmosis, it is a migration of the solvent into the cell. Here solvent enter into the cell is known as endoosmosis. What is meant by exoosmosis? Exoosmosis means solvent migrate outside from the cell is known as exoosmosis. Exoosmosis occurs due to the flaccidity of the cell. This cell is a flaccid, and endoosmosis occurs due to the turgidity of the cell. This cell is a turgid. Exoosmosis and endoosmosis. Endoosmosis means solvent migrate into the cell, and exoosmosis means solvent migrate from the cell is called exoosmosis. Some biological terms: first is a turgor pressure and second is a wall pressure. First is a turgor pressure. Turgor pressure is also known as TP. The pressure exerted by the turgid cell sap on the cell membrane and the cell wall is known as turgor pressure. This is a turgor pressure due to the turgidity of the cell. Turgor pressure due to the fully turgid cell. and in fully turgid cell DPD is a 0. And second is a wall pressure. The cell wall, being a thick and rigid, exert a counter pressure on the cell wall, cell sap. Cell wall being a, this is a cell wall. Cell wall being thick and rigid exert a counter pressure on the cell sap. It is known as wall pressure. This is a wall pressure and this is a turgor pressure. Turgor pressure due to the turgid cell, and in fully turgid cell DPD is 0, and in fully turgid cell TP turgor pressure and WP wall pressure. In fully turgid cell turgor pressure and wall pressure is equal to, means in fully turgid cell TP is equal to WP, means turgor pressure is equal to wall pressure in fully turgid cell, but this is operating in opposite direction. The arrow get opposite direction. Next point is osmotic pressure. The pressure exerted due to the osmosis is known as osmotic pressure. The pressure exerted due to the osmosis is called osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure of the solution is equivalent to the pressure of the solution, and it is a minimum pressure which needs to apply to the solution to prevent the inward flow of its pure solvent across the semi-permeable membrane. And in fully flaccid cell, one second, in fully flaccid cell TP is a 0. TP means turgor pressure, and DPD is equal to OP. In fully flaccid cell TP is a 0, turgor pressure is 0, and DPD is equal to the OP. DPD means diffusion pressure deficit is equal to osmotic pressure. What is meant by osmotic pressure? The pressure exerted due to the osmosis is called osmotic pressure, and the in flaccid cell TP is a 0. TP means turgor pressure is 0, and in turgid cell DPD is a 0 and TP is equal to osmotic pressure, means in turgid cell turgor pressure is equal to osmotic pressure, and in flaccid cell DPD is equal to, means diffusion pressure deficit is equal to osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure means the pressure exerted due to the osmosis in flaccid cell. This is a flaccid cell. Flaccid cell means shrinking cell. In flaccid cell, vacuole shrinks and cell loses its shape, and in flaccid cell turgor pressure is a 0, and in turgid cell DPD is a 0. In flaccid cell TP is a 0, means turgor pressure is 0, and in turgid cell DPD is a 0. Remember it, in flaccid cell turgor pressure is 0, and in turgid cell DPD is a 0. Facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is a type of passive transport, or facilitated diffusion is a process of spontaneous passive transport of molecules and ions across a biological membrane via specific transmembrane integral protein. Here, this diagram shows facilitated diffusion. This is a plasma membrane of the cell. This is a outer environment of the cell, and this is the inside environment of the cell. The molecules and ions which transported through the transmembrane integral protein. This is known as facilitated diffusion. Some examples of transmembrane integral protein is a first is a ion channel and second is a aquaporins. Example of integral protein, first is ion channel and second is a aquaporins, which is present in the plasma membrane of the cell, which is helps in the facilitated diffusion. And sodium channel, chlorine channel are the example of ion channels. Next point is water potential. What is meant by potential? The having or showing capacity to develop something is known as potential. Chemical potential. The free energy per molecule in chemical system is called chemical potential. And every component of a system is having definite amount of free energy which is used to do work is known as chemical potential, and osmosis is on the basis of the free energy. Next is a water potential. Water potential is denoted by the Greek words or Greek letter psi. This is a symbol of psi. And water potential of protoplasm is equal but opposite in sign to the DPD. It has a negative value. And the internal water potential of the plant cell. The internal water potential of plant cell is more negative than the pure water. Why the internal water potential is more negative than the pure water? Because of the water to move from soil into plant root via the osmosis. So, plant cell of the water potential, internal water potential of the plant cell is a negative. Then the unit of measurement is in the bars, pascals and atmospheres. The unit of water potential is bars, pascals and atmospheres. And water have a ability. Water always flow from less negative potential to more negative potential, and the movement of water through the plasmodesmata across the cell decide the adjacent by the difference between the water potential. Factor affecting water absorption. Here some factors which affect on the water absorption. First is the presence of capillary water is essential. Second is the rate of water absorption is maximum at soil temperature between 200 to 300 degrees Celsius. Third is a high concentration of solute in soil. Water reduce the rate of absorption of water. Fourth is poorly aerated soil show a poor absorption rate. Fourth is a increased transpiration accelerate the rate of absorption of water in irrigated soil. These are the factors which affect on the water absorption. Capillary water must be essential for the water absorption. The rate of absorption is maximum at soil temperature between 200 to 300 degrees Celsius. Then high concentration of solute in soil reduce the rate of absorption water. Fourth is poorly aerated soil show the poor absorption rate, and the increased transpiration accelerate the rate of absorption of water in irrigated soil. These are the factors which affect on the water absorption. Next point is plasmolysis. What is meant by plasmolysis? In this topic, we study plasmolysis and also deplasmolysis. First, plasmolysis. Contraction of the protoplasm of the plant cell as a result of loss of water from the cell is known as plasmolysis. Contraction of protoplasm of plant cell as a result in loss of water from the cell is known as plasmolysis. plasmolysis. In simply, loss of water from the cell is known as plasmolysis. In simply, loss of water from the cell is known as plasmolysis. And in a plasmolyzed cell, a gap is developed between the cell wall and the protoplasm. And this gap filled up by the outer solution. This is a plasmolyzed cell. This is a plasmolyzed cell. The contraction of this is a protoplasm. Protoplasm get contract, plant cell lose the water and cell become a plasmolyzed. In plasmolyzed cell, the gap develop between the cell wall and the protoplasm. This is a protoplasm and this is a cell wall. The gap is present in between protoplasm and the cell wall in plasmolyzed cell, and the gap filled by the outer solution. This process is known as plasmolysis. In simply, plasmolysis means loss of water. Loss of water from the cell is known as plasmolysis, and in plasmolysis, Tp is always zero. No turgor pressure exerted in the wall. So, in plasmolyzed cell, Tp is always zero. And next is a deplasmolysis. In plasmolyzed cell, when plasmolyzed cell, this cell placed in a hypotonic solution. What is meant by hypotonic solution? The solution which have high osmotic pressure, which is known as hypotonic solution. The cell, the plasmolyzed cell is placed in hypotonic solution. Endosmosis occurs, cell get turgid. Cell get turgid, and this process is known as deplasmolysis. Here there are two processes. First is a plasmolysis and second is a deplasmolysis. Plasmolysis means loss of water from the cell, and in deplasmolysis gain of water and cell become a turgid. In plasmolysis process, cell become a flaccid, and in in deplasmolysis process, cell become a turgid. Next point is path of water across the root. We study water is absorbed by the root hair cell through the three sequential process. First is a imbibition, second is a diffusion, third is a osmosis. After the osmosis, the cell become a turgid. After the osmosis, the cell become a turgid. Due to the turgidity, turgor pressure increases. Due to the turgidity of the cell, the turgor pressure is increases. Due to turgor pressure increases, DPD decreases. Due to turgor pressure increases, DPD decreases. Due to DPD decreases, the adjacent cortical cell has more DPD value. Due to DPD decreases, the adjacent cortical cell has more DPD value because of the adjacent cortical cell have a more osmotic pressure. Because of the adjacent cortical cell have more osmotic pressure. The next, cortical cell become turgid. Cortical cell become turgid, and the flaccid root hair cell now absorb water from the soil. Flaccid root hair cell absorb water from the soil. Cortical cell become turgid. Due to turgidity, the flaccid root hair cell now absorb water from the soil. Water from the turgid cell is sucked by the inner cell and the process goes on. The water from the turgid cell is sucked by the inner cell. The water from the turgid cell is sucked by the inner cell and the process goes on. The water moves rapidly across the roots through the loosely arranged living cells of the cortex, endodermis, pericycle and the pericycle, the protoxylem or xylem is in the close proximity with the pericycle. Here, there are two pathways for the water uptake by the root. There are two pathways for the water uptake by the root. First is a apoplastic pathway, second is a symplastic pathway. First is a apoplastic pathway and second is a symplastic pathway. First, apoplastic pathway. When some water passes across the root, when some water passes across the root by the or through the cell or an intercellular space is known as apoplastic pathway. When some water passes across the root through the cell wall and the transmembrane intercellular space. When some water passes across the root through the cell wall and the intercellular space of the cell is known as apoplastic pathway. Here, cell wall and intercellular space is important. Apoplastic pathway is a uptake of water by the root through a cell wall and the intercellular space. Here diagram show the symplastic pathway and apoplastic pathway. In apoplastic pathway, water uptake by the root through the cell wall and the intercellular space. Next is the symplastic path. Water passes across from one living cell to another living cell. Water passes through the one living cell to another living cell through a plasmodesmata. Water passes from one living cell to other living cell from the plasmodesmata. This path is known as symplastic pathway. Here, this is a diagram show the symplastic pathway. Water passes through the one living cell to other living cell through the plasmodesmata. Here, plasmodesmata is a important part in symplastic path. Plasmodesmata, it is a main, and in apoplastic pathway, cell wall and the intercellular space is a important. This is the apoplastic pathway. Water moves from the cell wall and the intercellular space. And this is a symplastic pathway. Water move from one living cell to other living cell from the or through the plasmodesmata. It is known as symplastic pathway. Then symplastic pathway again classify into two, vacuolar path or transmembrane path. Today we studied water available to root for absorption, absorption of water by roots from soil, water potential, plasmolysis, path of water across the root. Thank you so much for attending my lecture. Thank you.